Feedback is so important, but oftentimes we don't do it well or we don't do it at all, particularly when it comes to constructive feedback. So, I want to share with you the BEAN model that I teach as a model for constructive feedback. I think it's very helpful, and if you prepare for these conversations, you're going to be more confident and it's naturally going to go better. So let's go through the model. The B is describe the behavior. And in this stage, you want to focus on the behavior and not the person. So, for example, if you have an employee in your department that you feel like is lazy, rather than saying you are lazy, you want to share those behaviors that lead you to believe that. So, maybe they've been tardy 3 times this week, they went missing in action on their shift. The other thing that you want to do is use I statements to start the conversation. So, I feel, I noticed, I observed. That just doesn't put the person on the defensive as much as if you start with a you statement. So we'll go through an example as I go through this model. Negative Nellie is an employee in your department. You're having a staff meeting. You ask the team for input, and Negative Nellie says to another employee, I don't know why they're asking for our input. Management's going to do what they want to do anyway. So you decide that you need to have a feedback conversation with Nellie after the meeting. So one thing you want to do is that you want to make sure you do it in a private place if it is constructive feedback. So in this scenario, we might say something like, Nellie, I noticed or I overheard in the meeting that you shared that you didn't know why we were asking for employee input, that management was going to do what they wanted to do anyway. So you're just kind of restating what happened and what the behavior was. Next, we have the E, share the effect. So this is where you share the impact of the behavior or the potential effect of the behavior. In this case, I felt like that comment took the meeting in a negative direction and made others less likely to share. So you've shared the behavior, you've shared the effect, and next, you are going to ask for input and explore alternatives. So I think that in most cases, there's your perception, there's the other person's perception, and reality is somewhere in between. That's why I really like this model. Some of the other models are just a framework to share, but this actually builds in some conversation. So you might ask her a question like, tell me why you feel that way. Can you give me some examples of when management has not acted on input in the past? Or if you don't know a specific question to ask, you can just say, what are your thoughts on this? The N is determine next steps. So that is where ideally you will collaborate with the employee to determine next steps. In this case, it might be something like, okay, we agree that next time if you have concerns, you'll come to me directly rather than sharing in a private forum. Sometimes you may have to be a little more prescriptive if it's something that's kind of going down the road of disciplinary action or something like that. Okay, if you'd like more information, here's my contact. I also have a solution through Influence HR Consulting called Performance Management Redesign. And feedback is just one component of the performance management process. You've got clear expectations, you've got giving positive and developmental feedback in a motivational way. You've got coaching, you've got goal setting, you've got corrective action when that's needed, with the bottom line and the center of all this being having good accountability within your culture. So there's a QR code if you want more information on that solution, and I would love to talk with you about it. Thanks for listening.